If you are a parent of a little person, you may realize the importance of having stools, not just around your house, but really wherever you go, so that your child can be as independent as possible. Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Cynthia Veronica, and if you are new to my channel, I have a 4-year-old son named Sebastian who has achondroplasia, which is the most common form of dwarfism. So today, let's talk about stools and other adaptive equipment that your child can use in order to be more independent. So the first type of stool that I want to talk to you about is the Teddy Graham's Tot Tower. So we actually have this in our kitchen. My kids, both of them, actually use this every day. So aside from my 4-year-old son, Sebastian, I also have a 3-year-old daughter named Samantha. And both of them equally like to use it to help around the kitchen. They like to help with making their own breakfast. So they'll usually use the stool to make their own toast in the morning or mix pancake mix, or sometimes they'll be up on the counter squeezing lemons or oranges for juice. It's also really lightweight, so they can actually push it around themselves. The reason that I like this Tot Tower specifically is because the makers of this Tot Tower actually can adapt the one model that they have so that it has 3 steps instead of 2. And in doing that modification, it actually makes it easier for someone with achondroplasia to use. So even though my daughter, who's average height, can easily go up and down the Tot Tower herself, it's actually so much easier for Sebastian to use the 3-step tower, and it fits so perfectly for him. And if this were the standard 2-step tower, he probably wouldn't as easily be able to reach things on the counter. So I'll put a link to this product in the description bar below, so you can go ahead and email them, and in your email request you can let them know that you have a child with achondroplasia or with dwarfism and that you'd like them to make you the modified version. The other thing about this particular Tot Tower company is that they you can get it in a variety of colors. I think that there's maybe 2 or 3 colors that you can get it in. I chose the unfinished model, which is unfortunate. I wish I had actually selected a color because it does get dirty after a while, and I do wish that we could more easily clean it, and if there was some finish on it, then we would be able to more easily wipe it clean. So that's my tip for the Tot Tower. You will get a lot of use out of it, and you know, it's probably better to just pay a little bit more extra to get the finished model. So the second product I want to talk to you about is the foam playset. So my kids get a lot of use out of the foam playset that we have. They use it as slides, they build forts, but more importantly, they use it to climb so that they can reach the top drawers of their closets. So each of my kids have drawers within their closets, and I usually put shirts at the very bottom, pants second from the bottom, and then things like socks, underwear at the very top. So I do this specifically so that they can pick their clothing for the day, whatever they want to wear. So it's up to them to dress themselves. They pick their own t-shirts, their own pants, and they can also use the foam steps to climb up and get their socks and underwear. So the third product I want to talk to you about is a 3-step stool that I actually discovered at our public library a while back. So I went to the library one day and my son and daughter had to go to the bathroom. And so when it came to washing their hands, they easily climbed into this step stool tower, and they loved it. They were able to independently wash their hands, get their own soap, and grab their own paper towel to dry. My kids actually had so much fun washing their hands, and I was so amazed by it. And that's actually what inspired me to do a little bit of a bathroom remodel. So before, the kids' bathroom basically had a really bulky vanity and sink, and so every time they had to wash their hands, I would have to physically just pick them up, and you know, they would wash their hands that way. When I saw how much fun they were having, and enjoying being independent at the library using this three-step step stool, it just inspired me to just get rid of that old vanity, put in a new one that was less bulky, and put a step stool in there that was three-step that actually did accommodate them, where they were able to actually wash their hands independently. And I absolutely love it. I tell them go wash your hands and they do it independently. I tell them go brush your teeth and they do it independently now. So I am really excited about this type of stool, and I was so happy when I discovered it that I actually took a picture of where it was from, and I will put that information in the description bar below. So the fourth type of stool that I wanted to talk to you is basically just a platform. And I got this idea from my son's early start classroom. When he first started early start, they had a lot of really great tools and adaptive things that, could really accommodate my son. And one thing they had in the sink area where he could wash his hands was basically a long wooden platform. They just placed right under the sink, and Sebastian was able to just step right up to the sink, and he was able to independently wash his hands. I really liked that it was heavy enough to stay in place. It was also large enough where he could kind of move around, he could step up, and I wouldn't be afraid of him falling backwards or falling off. And I think that Community Playthings may sell a platform like this. It may not be the specific one, but I definitely have seen something similar on their website. So the fifth kind of stool that I want to talk to you about is a stool that is meant for a kid-sized toilet or a kid-sized sink. So my son actually attended another preschool, and at this other preschool, they actually had a child-sized toilet and they had a little platform around it. They also had a child-sized sink and, two-step stool that they had in front of it. And it was very sturdy. I also liked that it actually had a sort of non-stick padding on each of the steps, so that if a child stepped on, it's less likely that they would fall off. I think these are great stools for schools to have in their children's bathrooms. Another thing that I really loved about this stool was that my son really enjoyed washing his hands. I mean, he loved going to this bathroom. If we were closer to a different bathroom, to an adult bathroom, he would always, make the distance, walk, run all the way to the child's bathroom, because everything was his size. He could be independent. He was always excited to go to the bathroom and wash his hands. So me seeing him be so happy and independent also inspired me to change out our bathroom even more and do a little bit more remodeling. So we actually purchased a child-sized toilet, and we're probably going to get it installed in the next week or so. So the sixth type of stool that I want to talk to you about is a toilet stool. This is a stool that is specifically made to go up against your toilet. You can actually provide the person that makes these stools on Etsy the measurements, specific measurements that they request of your toilet. They want certain heights, they want certain diameters, and you can submit all of that, and they sort of custom make this stool to fit your bathroom. So unfortunately, this stool didn't really work out that well for my son, and I think the reason for it is that our toilets that we have are probably not standard size. I think that they're a little bit on the taller side, and I didn't realize this until after I got this. So he was able to climb up easily himself, but he wasn't actually able to use the bathroom or use the toilet as easily because he wasn't able to reach as easily due to the height differential. So I have this stool in my bathroom anyway, and I have the kids basically use it to get up to the sink and be able to wash their hands. And plus, I'm sure someday it'll work out where he's a little bit taller and he'll be able to use the stool. So the seventh stool type is this Melissa and Doug stool. It's a very sturdy two-step stool. It's a little bit on the lower side, and so Sebastian doesn't really use it so much to reach kitchen counters, for instance, or bathroom sinks. But I do have it just for later on. My daughter right now, who is 3 years old, actually uses it quite a bit. So when there's not enough room for them to do certain activities in the Tot Tower in the kitchen, they actually just use the two different stools. So usually my son will use the Tot Tower and my daughter will use the Melissa and Doug step stool. And so it works out so that, you know, both of them can do activities on the counter. So I have it, I think it'll come in handy more so later on because Sebastian really doesn't use it a whole lot right now. So the 8th type of stool that I wanted to talk to you about is a portable lightweight stool. And this is something that can easily fold and you can carry it around. It's very lightweight. You can take it places. We have not personally used it, or at least not a whole lot. We don't really have a big need for it because we don't do a lot of travel. I think having this type of stool will be helpful just further down the road, but for now, it's something that I'm just taking note of as something that's really easy to carry around, folds, it's easy to store, and it's pretty good for travel, so I hear. So the next and last type of stool is Doggy Steps. And I actually saw this on the LPA website. I actually think this is a brilliant idea. So right now for getting up on the couch, Sebastian has developed pretty good climbing skills. I mean, he's a pretty good climber. I watch him climb up surfaces all the time. He climbs up on the couch, he gets up to the top. You know, he is pretty independent with, you know, sitting on the couch on his own. But I think this is also kind of a nice option to have when he's feeling kind of tired. I also think it would be nice for when certain surfaces are a challenge to climb onto. And plus we have dogs, so I've actually been meaning to get this. So I have a few other adaptive tools that I wanted to talk to you about. The first one is a light switch extender. And Sebastian's actually able to turn the light on and off on his own now. I think this costs something around $10 or $15 on Amazon. It glows in the dark, so it's kind of neat. And Sebastian could just reach up and turn the light on and off. Samantha as well, she loves turning the light on and off constantly. Another kind of cool adaptive tool is putting strings on door handles. And my brother-in-law actually came up with this idea. He said, why don't we just put strings tightly tied on the door handle? And so he actually installed these for me, for Sebastian's room and also for Samantha's room. And so this was when he was a little bit younger because now he can actually reach the doorknob and open and close it on his own. But when he was a little bit younger, he wasn't able to reach as easily. And that actually worked really well. And they're still on our doorknobs, but we don't really use it. But it was kind of a neat thing to have. He would just open it, close it, and it was just either, you know, pulling down on the string and pushing to open, or, you know, pulling to close. And yeah, he really loved it, and it worked out really well. So the third adaptive tool is a crate or a box used as a footrest. Sebastian's preschool teacher actually came up with this idea. She didn't want his feet to dangle and for his feet to fall asleep or for him to be uncomfortable. So whenever he was seated at a specific table, she put this crate or wooden, you know, box underneath his feet, and it worked out really nicely. His feet never dangled and he was able to sit and do an activity for an extended period of time. So that's all I have for now. Let me know in the comments section what types of stools or adaptive equipment you use for your child. If you got value out of this video, please like and consider subscribing. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.